What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Animation Revaluation Podcast. I am Lizer, and with me, as always, are Jay and James. What's up, guys?
Yer.
Domo.
Domo. It's
At
the
least put some
whitest Domo.
put some enthusiasm behind it.
Domo.
Domo.
I'm dead inside.
I imagine that's how the little Domo sounds like. You know, the little brown one?
Why you gotta bring race into this?
I don't know. Isn't he just... it's the only color that I know he's He's brown.
That little dude.
Time to get canceled.
I sense racial motivation behind that one.
He has glasses too. At least the one I have.
Megane.
Megane.
Oh my god. What's up, guys? How you guys feeling?
It's a Friday.
TGIF.
Yeah. So the 2 days of relaxation I get are about to be real fucking nice.
Yep. What the fuck was that? Kim, thank you so much for 3 months. 3 months. Soon we can find out the gender. Okay, hold up. Wait a second. Ma'am.
You had a kid?
Ma'am, you gotta slow down with that one.
Is a kid involved?
Hey, Jess just came in with the hi, you guys.
Electric company?
Nice.
Electric company? I was gonna say the Goonies.
No, Goonies.
That works too.
Especially since she put sloth voice.
Okay.
Dude, Goonies is such a nice, wholesome, family-friendly. Just like this was a nice, wholesome, family-friendly anime we watched this week, right?
For the most part.
What do you mean
No.
for the most part? It was nice. It's family-friendly, wholesome.
There's the majority of it was very wholesome. However, there's some darker things wrapped in there. You know, it's like a whole like 3-course meal, except like 2 of them are very bad. But the only thing that was good was the dessert.
I don't know what you're talking about. I only saw wholesome stuff.
Proceed.
Yeah, so it was wholesome. To give you a little description, it kind of opens up with this girl. Her name's Lucy, and she's a fucking murderer. Very wholesome.
Alexa, play the only thing my fears you.
So yeah, to start us off, it opens up with this like facility, and you can actually see it right here on the cover art, I guess this is from last week.
Yeah.
You see this helmet that she's wearing? It was a full helmet, and she's like in a straight jacket in this machine. There's like guards all around her. She's naked except for the helmet. Can't show that on Twitch. And you're just kind of left wondering, like, what am I watching? What is going on? Because we just went from like this really calming Latin prayer song to this. What's happening right now? So that is Lucy. She is our... Would you call her the protagonist?
It's mostly about her, so yeah.
Pretty much.
Or would you call her protagonist or antagonist?
No.
Or
No, neither.
anti-hero?
Either
I feel like even anti-heroes is a stretch.
No.
Chaotic neutral?
That's closer.
Close enough.
She is our character.
Yeah. This whole story is about her. No
Yeah.
one else. Just her.
Yeah, and like how she is involved in other people's lives, basically. So she's all like tied up in this like facility, guards aiming all their guns at her and everything, and they just kind of die, like harshly, like limbs go flying, there's blood everywhere, heads are exploding. So it seems as if she has like telepathic powers. It's not explained right away, but the guards are like unloading clips at her and nothing's happening. There's one point where she like got into an elevator and crouched down and like hugged her legs, and they just started like 30 guards just shooting at her, and nothing hit her at all. Just everything is around her. So you're left thinking that she has like this telepathic power where nothing can harm her, and she can, you know, hurt people from however far away. They said it was like 2 meters.
2 meters, yeah.
Yeah, which is approximately like 6.5 feet.
Which honestly isn't that like.
It's not that big, but for what is
Gravity's-
happening, it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Like, I mean, you don't have a arm's length of 6.5 feet,
No.
so that's
No.
quite the reach. So she's basically plowing through all these guards and everything, making her way out of this facility. Nobody can stop her. She gets out, and gets to like this cliff basically, and they have a sniper trained on her. Shoots her with his rifle, pierces the helmet, which is why it's cracked in that artwork. And being that the helmet is like thick metal, it doesn't go all the way to her, but it does cause damage. She falls into the water below and like drifts away to sea. And then we don't see what happens to her. We're suddenly introduced to our male. The fuck? Alright. Kinda, yeah.
That's what I thought the entire time. It's like she's mute.
We're then introduced to our male and female leads of the male is Kota, who is just normal run-of-the-mill like high school boy. He's moving in to this big house that seems to be owned by his cousin's family. His cousin is the female Yuka. And I think he's moving in for school, for college, I believe.
Yes.
And it's told like, hey, you can live here rent free. You just gotta clean it. And he's like, what the I was expecting like an apartment or like a small house. How big is this place? She's like, it's 10 rooms. It's like, and I have to
10
clean it
rooms.
every day.
A mansion.
Yeah, it's basically like an old style mansion. I think they said it used to be like a big restaurant or something.
It's a restaurant, yeah.
He's like, I gotta clean it every day. But I mean, it's not that bad of a deal to live there rent free, honestly.
Shit, nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
He has like some, we're given like hints that he has like some repressed memories just based on little things. Like he doesn't remember things that his cousin brings up about when they were younger. We know that his sister and his father are dead. Apparently
Yeah.
his sister was sick, he says, and his father died in a car accident. To what he says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you find out later that's not the case, but you know.
Not at all.
Yeah, we don't get to that during the 5 episodes.
Mm.
So they decide to go to the beach, which is like a place that he used to go to with his sister a lot. At the beach, they find this girl washed up, completely nude. She has like pink hair and what looks to be cat ears, but are actually horns. And her name is Mew, and she's God's gift to the world. She can do no wrong. Now the thing with Mew,
I wholeheartedly agree.
the thing with Mew is she has like an infant's mind, basically. When Lucy was shot, it kind of like put her whole psyche into the back of her mind and created this new persona of Mew. And the world is brand new to her. She doesn't know how to speak. She doesn't know how to dress herself, how to feed herself, or anything like that. So
It kind of happens when you get shot by an anti-tank rifle.
yeah,
Agreed. You take one of those to the head, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna.
it's kind of
You have-
understandable.
Yeah,
You develop a whole new personality after that.
I would too.
But yeah, she can't speak in full sentences. She only knows how to say her name at first. Eventually she learns how to say his name and like the word cuddle. And that's about it. For at least the first 5. He has to help her eat. He has to dress her. I don't even think she knows how to bathe herself properly at first. But obviously he can't help with that.
No, that's what the female lead is for.
And she's like getting jealous because apparently this isn't taking place in Japan, it's taking place in Alabama, and she's in love with him. So every little bit of attention that Kota shows New, Yuka is getting supremely jealous for. So they just kind of deal with having her there. They don't call the cops or anything, which is fucking weird. And was it the first night that like they sent out the soldiers?
Yep.
Okay, so we have the asshole here, Kurama. He is like in charge basically of the experiments that were being done on Lucy. And it's kind of his responsibility to get her back by any means necessary. And he decides, I think the company or whatever you want to call it as a whole decides it's not worth getting her back. She's too dangerous. She needs to be killed. So they send out this like team of highly trained soldiers. And on that team is one dude named Bondo, who's like the best of the best, but also like the worst of the worst.
A very big fucking creep.
Yeah. This guy, like a girl was gonna, he did like a training thing where he was testing his aim. And I guess this girl was supposed to come and give him his results, but she walked up behind him. So he just like fucking swung at her and sent her flying. And she just stood on the floor. Nobody helped her. I felt so bad. I felt so bad at that moment. Like everyone was just like, he's the best at what he does. I'm like, dude, help her. She's crying.
Like she had a bloody nose. She was just laying there on the floor.
He just laid her out, dude. God damn.
That guy hits women.
It's like nobody sneaks up behind me, bitch. Like she was just gonna hand you paperwork, my guy. Like fucking Christ. So he's put on this team. He's not even put as like the leader or anything because he's not a team player. He just wants to go get the stuff done. He finds out that like she has a special ability. She can, you know, hurt you within 2 meters of herself. Blah blah blah. But they won't give details on like it's the fact that she has a power. They just say that she has a special weapon.
Yeah.
So he's just like, all right, I want to test myself out. So he's just kind of like antagonistic to all the other soldiers. He just wants to get the job done. I think Mew had like ran away to the beach because Kota was talking about his sister, and that one of the last things she gave him was a seashell.
A pink seashell.
Yeah, and you had cracked it. Like I said, she's kind of infantile, so she doesn't know any better. She cracked it by accident. I think Yuka's like, oh, she cracked it because she knew that it made you sad. And I was like, shut the fuck up. That's not why.
I kind of saw that she kind of associated the sadness to that, so she just got rid of it. It's like, you don't have to be sad anymore.
Man, shut the fuck up.
I kind of saw
the same thing I say to her.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I hated her.
Who,
I hated Yuka. I hated everything about her.
Ooh.
Yuka.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I did not
like
her.
About that later.
Yeah, I did not like it.
We'll talk about that after I get done like describing everything.
Yeah.
So he gets mad. He's like, get the fuck out of my house, even though he's been living there like 30 seconds. Mew is crying. She runs away to the beach. I guess she saw shells at the beach when they picked her up and somehow remembered how to get there, even though she's literally in the mind of a child. But she gets there. It's pouring rain. She's soaked because she's like next to the water. The waves are splashing her. And the soldiers find her. And so does Kota. And I think they knock him out. And Bando's just basically instead of killing her right away, he's like dragging her away. He's like trying to egg her on, like show me what the power is, like that kind of shit. Because he wants to show off or whatever, or test himself. So
Playing with his prey.
Yeah, he sees that like nothing's happening, so he tells the other soldier that he's paired with, because I think they went in pairs of 2, like just shoot her. So the guy's like, oh well, I feel bad, like I'm not even sure that this is actually the girl, but whatever. So
He's like, this is my job.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
so he goes to shoot her. He's like, I'm sorry. You hear him pull the trigger, and like a shot rings out, and you see blood splash. But he doesn't shoot her. She apparently like uses her power, which we still at this point just assume is telepathy, to punch right through him, like right through his chest, and somehow
very big hole.
Yeah, huge hole. Like it goes from chest to stomach, and somehow he's still able to like turn around and be like, Bando, run. And Bando's just like there with a cigarette in his mouth. He's like, oh shit.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
they-
like a 3-foot cavity,
Yeah.
circle your hole through the
Yeah.
body.
So Bando's like, oh shit. He starts shooting and everything, but she's deflecting bullets. They kind of have like this big battle that takes place on the, I guess the pier, would call it, where like the shops are and stuff, but everything's closed down for the night. And he sees like, okay, I'm out of her 2-meter range, but she can throw things. So he's like trying to come up with, you know, tactics to get around it and to harm her or whatever. So he sees somehow the body of his comrade ended up on the dock too, and it has a grenade. So I'm guessing his idea was to shoot the grenade when she got close. So he's listening for her footsteps, and he hears her step in the blood because of the wet sound it made, even though it's raining and the whole thing should be wet, but you know, whatever. So he's like, I got you, bitch. And he comes out with his gun and looks, and she's holding the other guy's gun. He's like, well, that's not fair.
You brought a gun to a gunfight. That's not fair.
He's literally like, that's not fair. And she just like shoots him, and he's wearing you know, a bulletproof vest or whatever, but so it knocks him back. It doesn't, you know, pierce him or anything. But that's enough time for her to go up. She like rips his arm off and breaks the other one and pokes his eyes out. For some reason, she's like standing with both her feet planted next to his ears, like she's gonna fucking ride his face or something. Really weird.
I didn't think that at all.
I thought, like, even not even to make it sexual. I was just like you're looking down on him, but you're gonna stand like right there. If anything, wouldn't you stand like feet
It's
next
the
to his
ultimate
chest?
authority.
She starts T-posing.
It's the ultimate power move.
I don't know. It just like the positioning just felt very weird. It's not even the last time that someone's gonna do that exact position in the series, but it feels weird for it to happen that way. I feel like if you're gonna stand above someone to look them down in the face, you would stand at chest level. And
I'm
look
sure
down.
it's very empowering.
Sure. Also, like, you already poked his eyes out, so what are you staring down at him for? Like, whatever.
That is true. His eyes were poked out.
But she like does all this, and she's getting ready to kill him, and she looks at her hand, and she actually sees that while she was new, she had found a shell. So now that she's Lucy, and she sees this, she like reverts back, and I don't even remember, how did she get back home? Did she go on her own, or did someone find her?
No, she went back on her own.
Oh, she goes back on her own. So
Yeah.
he's just kind of there, like bleeding out, one broken arm, one missing arm, no eyes, and
No.
he's just, I'll kill you.
I was
bitch."
just like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's just like screaming to high heaven. I watched the English dub, by the way. What did you guys watch?
I watched the sub.
I watched the sub.
So when I originally watched this, I watched it sub, but this time I decided English just because I've never seen it before. It's not good.
I'm glad to know that I judged wisely.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, it's not bad, but it definitely didn't age well. It's
Oh, I see.
yeah, it's that era of anime dubbing.
2004, by the way.
Yeah.
It also didn't age well in other aspects, but we can also.
Yeah, well, we'll
to
talk
that
about
later.
that later. So this girl finds him on the beach. Her name is Mayu, and we saw her before, very briefly, and she's basically just a homeless girl living with her dog, in like an abandoned shack to get away from the rain. So she runs away to call for help for him, but by the time she came back, I guess the soldiers or whatever had picked him up to bring him back to the facility. But she finds Kota's umbrella that has like the address on it. She brings that back to them later, and that's how they start to like befriend her. What else? A lot of it is like there's just gaps in between every like conflict in which it's just you trying to learn about life, and like Kota and Yuka helping her along, Yuka being jealous, like that kind of shit. They spent a lot of time on that, so I feel like it's not.
They really wanted to like hard press it.
Yeah, I feel like it's not important to go over each and every fucking time that happens.
Yeah.
I will say this suffers a lot from being in the era of like, haha, that's funny that the guy got punched by the girl. That's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, homie did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
He got hit for no reason.
pretty much.
Like that was such a big thing in anime for so long. It's like, oh, Baka, and just punches him. Like this fucking scrawny
Just
high school
full-on
girl can
decks
floor
him.
this dude. And it was taken as like comedic, and now I'm like, that's fucking toxic, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you didn't remember something from 8 years ago?
I would
Me.
fucking dare
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
He not only did he just have like post-traumatic stress from
Right.
losing his little sister, and I didn't really catch it. Did he also lose his dad too?
He
Yeah.
lost his dad and his little sister in like the
Yeah.
same kind of time frame.
Yeah.
And it was just like he just, I guess, either blocked it out of his memory for that, like for a
Yeah.
very long time, so he doesn't remember a lot. And she's just like, how do you not remember this? And it's just like, you know what, you fucking idiot, and fucking floors him. And I'm just like,
You don't remember going to the festival that one time when we were like 6?
8 years ago? Like 8 years is a long time. And you floor him for it. I was like, my boy Kazuma stands for gender equality, alright?
I thought that every single time. The entire time I was like, it's like you have no reason to be jealous. You hit me, I will square you up in the face.
So I guess the next big plot point would be the introduction of Nana. So
Yes.
Nana is another girl at the facility that we see chained up, and she also has horns and powers like Lucy. And we see her chained up by her arm. She's covered in blood. She's completely naked. I've censored it for Twitch. And Kurama goes up to her, and she's calling him Papa. And apparently that's not his actual daughter, but he's like raised her. I don't know if she thinks that she really is his daughter or what.
What I understood is just that from all the stress and like stuff that they tortured and tormented her about, she just kind of repressed it all, and she kind of needed like a conduit to kind of cope with. So since he was always around, she made him like a father figure to kind of cope for the situation that she's in.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a lot of coping she had to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But he explains that she is also a. Do you guys remember what they called them?
It was like
Diclonius.
Diclonius. Okay.
Dementors.
Dementors. No, my brain kept going diclofenac, which is a fucking medication. It's like, dude, stop. Yeah, let me put up a normal picture of her. So he says that she's also a Diclonius, and Diclonius have the ability to sense each other when they get like within a certain range. So she's their best bet at tracking down Lucy. So he's telling her like, I need you to do this for me. I need you to take her out. She's going to do bad. And she's like, oh, I wouldn't be able to kill. You know, I'm a good girl, blah, blah, blah. Even though she's covered in blood, so obviously she's killed 4.
What they all say.
Yeah. And she's like, well, if she's causing you problems, I'll do my best. So he's like, listen, you don't have to kill her. I'll give you a way to contact me. And just when you find her, do it. And we'll send in a team to handle it. So she's sent out. She's given, you know, clothes. He gives her his tie, which he uses as like a headband to like hide her horns. And she tracks down Lucy. And she's able to find her. Something, I don't even remember what it was. I think they were cleaning the floors in the house and you slipped and hit her head and reverted back to Lucy.
Yep.
Just in time for this to happen, and ran out the house. Nana catches up to her and like talks to her for a while. Goes as far as like having the ability to kill her in that moment because she like put her vectors, which I haven't gotten into yet. They finally reveal what the actual power is. Apparently these girls have like invisible hands coming out of their bodies. So she's able to put hers into like Lucy's brain, and it's like, I could kill you. It's like, but I'm not going to because I'm a good girl, blah blah blah. And they kind of just start going at it. Nana kind of has the advantage at first because apparently her invisible arms, again they're called vectors, are longer than Lucy's. Lucy's are 2 meters. I don't even think they give an exact range for Nana, do they?
Maybe from the look of it, just the way they're doing animation, I feel like it was closer to 3 meters.
They're
But
definitely like
it
a
was
good
just
deal longer.
Yeah, it was just clearly like demonstrated that she just had the longer reach.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the thing is, although she has the longer reach, she's not as like tactical with them. And Lucy's able to outmaneuver her, and let's just say it doesn't really work out for Nana too well.
It turns into a human nugget.
Yeah.
Also, the homeless girl showed up.
Mayu. Yeah, she
She got
saw,
tossed into a tree. That shit was the funniest
yeah.
thing I ever seen.
She saw when Lucy like chopped Nana's fingers off and then her leg, and then Lucy threw her into the tree. She could have easily killed her.
Yeah.
I don't know why she didn't, because it doesn't seem like she remembers things from when she's new. So
I feel like I got an impression that she does, because I don't really know, because I didn't watch past the 5, but like you were mentioning when she bumped her head at the restaurant house, like when she was like about to kill Coda, and like for some reason like a mental image of him as a kid popped up, and for some reason she just stopped. So like I don't,
yeah,
like,
so that's not because of New. That's just because of her.
yeah.
But it seems like she doesn't remember anything from New, because there's points. I don't know if it's within the 5 or what, but I know there's points where they end up talking to Lucy, thinking she's New, and she'll just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like she'll straight up say it, like, what are you talking about? I think there was
I don't
one
think that
point.
it's not within the 5. At
Yeah.
least like
I think there was
'cause
one
the
point
yeah.
that she says something to him, and he's like, oh, when did you start talking in full sentences? And she's like, what are you talking about? So she obviously doesn't, like, she knows that there's a split personality thing happening, but she doesn't remember anything that happens with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that fight happens, and then she just kind of reverts back to New and goes home. I think like the soldiers came out and she ran away, but we never saw her like get hurt or anything. So maybe she just can do that. I don't understand how it works. I'm not like a psychologist or anything. But apparently she can just do it at will, like just revert back.
Well, the first couple of times that happened, it's like she kind of reverted back, not by choice. Like she would always have like this big old headache and then go switch back.
Yeah, like
And
when she saw the shell at the beach with Bando, she reverted back that way and it caused her a headache. But we don't get to see this time how it happens. It's like Nana's laying there all bloody. Soldiers come and surround her. Kurama comes out, starts talking shit. It seemed like they suppressed her powers for a second somehow. Like Nana uses her vectors to like stop Lucy's vectors briefly, and Kurama fucking like punches her out. But then she just runs away, and she's still Lucy in that moment. But then when it cuts to her the next time, she's new again. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the balls of that guy just to approach her, just like.
Well, I think
like,
I think they had that planned. It was like, if you do this, she probably like pressed a spot on her brain or something that suppressed her powers. I don't know.
like a baby with a little soft spot in their head.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. But yeah, she goes back to like being new and living a semi-normal life there. Nana is sent back to the facility to like heal up, and she's apologizing to Kurama, her papa, for being a disappointment, for failing him, I mean. And he gets the order to basically put her out by the director Kakuzawa. There's a picture of him, and he's like head bitch in charge, basically. He's in charge of all this what are they called again? Diclonius. Yeah, I'm just gonna call them cat girls. He's in charge of like all the stuff that they're doing with them, like all the research and subterfuge stuff happening. And he's like, all right, she's a failure, put her down. But it seems like Kurama has actually, developed kind of a bond with her and looks out for her. So instead, what they do is they give her like fake arms and legs, and he gives her like a purse full of cash. It's like, go live a life, be safe, be a good girl, blah blah blah. But she's been raised in this facility this whole time, and she doesn't know how money works. So she's just kind of dumb. And I'm gonna leave it at that, because that's like after the 5 eps.
Yeah, because like I don't remember that.
Yeah, I just want to give a little bit of closure on her character, because that's we don't see her again within the 5 eps.
Okay.
There's more that happens with her, but she's okay. Let's see. So Kota, the whole reason that he moved out here and came back to this place where he had like this fucking PTSD stuff happening is because he was going to school, right? So he has to go to school. And it turns out that him and Yuka are in school together. It seems like she turned down all her first choice schools in order to go to the same school as him, which is fucking stupid, first of all.
And he was just like fucking. I was like, damn, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah, he's like trash talking her, because he's like, oh, this is like a remedial school. You must be stupid. It's like, bro, stop. She did this because she wants the cousin. Fuck you. And they have to deal with apparently they have like a creepy professor, and his name is Professor Kakuzawa. Strangely enough, same last name as the director. So he comes in, and he's like kind of bullshit in the class. He's like, why is this way? You don't know, you're a fucking idiot. Blah blah blah. Even though it's a remedial class.
Like school.
Yeah. And he sees Lucy. He's like, New. He's like, oh, that's my younger brother's daughter, Lucy. You have to give her to me. We've been looking for her. And they don't even question it. They're just like, oh, okay. And they hand her over, and they're like sad about it, but they're like, she'll be fine. She's not gonna be fine, because he actually is the son of the director, like I said, and he knows about the testing. And apparently he's like a male version of the Catgirl thing. Except he doesn't have power, but he sees her as like, we're meant to be together, and we can, have babies and take over the world. And she kills him, and that's where episode 5 ends.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So nice and wholesome, family-friendly content.
Yeah, for sure. I don't mind the random limbs everywhere, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad, man. It's pretty good.
No.
Not anymore.
So, what
It
what
wasn't
did
even
you
close.
guys think? I know this isn't your first time seeing it, Jay. So let's, this is a rewatch. How do you think it holds up?
I don't remember when I watched this, which is the funny part. Like for the very first time, I know I probably wasn't supposed to. I, but I mean, it like to some regard, it. I've always remembered Lucy, so it wasn't like that hard to really discern what I was watching because I was like, as soon as I saw like where like what the anime was, and I was like, she looks familiar. However, I don't remember from where. And now that I've watched it again for like the third time, I still like it. It doesn't hold up to like any kind of standards, but
The storyline is
it's
still
still
good.
yes.
Yeah.
The story is very good.
And the animation is still like okay. Some
It's
parts are like
some parts are very
but like
very
the action scenes are still really good.
yes. Holds up still. Um as for the what I like to call a psychological warfare between three people, pretty okay. When it was either Mew, Lucy, or Coda, and Lucy pretending to be Mew for who knows how long. I don't remember how long it fucking happened for, but I think it is pretty good.
Mm.
That's I can't.
So what would you rate it?
I can give this like a 7.5, maybe an 8. So I still like I could watch this again.
James?
Yes.
What are your thoughts, buddy?
About this anime?
Nah, about last week's anime.
Oh, okay.
We didn't watch an anime last week.
It was an
Yeah,
animation.
crazy.
No. What can I say? It was very wholesome, and it was what I expected it to be. And I don't. All I remember, I for those who didn't, I didn't watch this at all. This wasn't a rewatch for me. Like I only watched the first episode, and I couldn't get past it. And like I was more innocent back then. I was I don't know how old I was, but I was still a kid. And like watching that scene, like here because here you just like I didn't know next to nothing about this. Like they don't like usually back then like you just saw the cover and it's just like okay, you either watch it or you don't. So I was like, okay, and then they introduce this like wholesome character, and she's holding this little panda, little cup. Next thing she
I'm gonna do my
knows,
best
like,
today.
yeah, and then like next thing you know, she gets her head like torn off, and her body gets used as a human shield that gets ricocheted by, not ricocheted, but like repelled with bullets. I was like, damn. And then after that, like, I just blacked out. Like, I don't remember anything. Like, I don't
He
remember
wakes up in
anything else.
Skyrim.
And then, like, after rewatching it, oh, yeah. Pretty much. That's exactly what happened. Oh. And, like, I didn't watch it since. And then after rewatching it, I already knew that scene. I was like, okay. And I just, like, turned off my emotions. I'll just like forget you. You're not important. You're just here for a means to an end, and that's all it was. And yeah, and that was what I thought was the first episode. And then as I kept watching, it was just more of the same. I mean, I did like I'm only really interested in like the backstory of because they do mention because on the fifth episode I think they previously mentioned a bit, but the that one professor did mention something about an Adam and Eve project.
Mhm.
So I'm guessing that's something that they're kind of doing in the facility, because it's not like they're just making these kind of mutants is what they called them. Like they were some kind of mutants, so they're doing something with mutants for some kind of reason. But as far as the 5 episodes tell you, I don't know. And then like we you mentioned that there is what it looks like there is some connection between um her and Coda, at least since they were small, but to what that is, I don't know. So I'd only be interested to find out what that is, but like I don't really know much all the other characters. They just didn't really grab me, especially with the what was it, Yuka?
Mhm.
I didn't. I was like, first of all, she was family, so and I don't know why. Like it was
Sweet
just
home
pretty
Alabama.
much like I that was just like one thing, and then the whole thing with like it being 8 years, and then him having like that kind of post stress, and him just like fucking hitting him because he doesn't remember a small little thing 8 years ago. But I mean, it's not like it wasn't like a small thing for her. I'm sure it was like that meant the world to her. Don't get me wrong about that, but like she didn't like even after knowing, like because I think they mentioned that she already knew that she kind of went to that kind of thing even beforehand, and she still chose to like not forgive him in a sense.
Yeah.
And like I didn't even like that. And then even like I think it was also on the fifth episode when he was like crying, and she was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Man shouldn't cry," and I'm like, "Bitch, shut the fuck up." I was like, "Men can cry just as much as women can cry." So it was like not only like she was like on that Sweet Home Alabama thing, and she also had like her own kind of gender stereotypes as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what I meant. That it didn't age well either, because that's like another trope or thing that they did back then as well.
Yeah. I think this show could benefit greatly from a remake current day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's your rating, man?
4.5.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to be super into this one because of the hyper violence and gore and stuff. And also, like, yeah, it didn't age very well. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, I still think the story is really good. Um, I'm hoping that you continue just because you're curious about the backstory, whether you watch it or like read up on it or whatever you decide to do.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's a pretty interesting way that like all these characters start to reveal their connections.
Yeah, I did
Um,
find it interesting when you mentioned that like she doesn't know that like about her other personality.
yeah,
Because at least when I was watching it, it kind of gave the impression that it did, but so saying it didn't, so I'm like, oh, okay, I understand how that could change things a bit.
yeah. And one
So
thing I was hoping that maybe caught on was when he was talking about his sister and father dying. Um, she knew about them being dead, like she knows how they died and everything. And he says like, dad died in a car accident and my sister was sick. And she questions that. She's like, wait, you said your sister was sick? But then they just drop it. That comes back. Maybe everything he thinks he remembers isn't exactly what it seems.
yeah, I kind of caught that where I feel like because as far as the 5 episodes, they don't mention how they died. It's
Yeah.
just something tragic happened.
Yeah.
So like, I imagine it had something to do with Lucy
I
in
mean,
some capacity, or
he
she wasn't.
mentions, he says that the dad died in a car accident and that the sister was sick and passed away. And that's when she was like, what are you talking about? But she just kind of accepts it. She probably
Yeah.
realizes like he probably changed his memories because of PTSD. Like, so
Yeah.
she just drops it. But then even then still bugs him about shit.
Yeah, that kind of aspect is kind of what one I kind of would that's the only real thing I would kind of want to know.
Mhm.
Not like all the other stuff about it, just kind of like just more about like the project and like the backstory between like her family and Lucy and Coda.
Yeah. Like I said, I think this would greatly benefit from a remake, maybe more than 13 episodes, maybe make it a full like 24,
24,
25, somewhere around
25.
there, and
It'd
make
be a
it a
different studio
little.
too. Because
Uh,
I know, from what I read up, that sorry to interrupt.
yeah, no, go ahead.
At least when I looked it up just briefly, just because like I was seeing like if the studio was still there,
Hmm.
like it would allow other stuff that they made, but I guess the studio went bankrupt, so like they didn't make any like season 2 or anything because it just stopped.
I mean,
And I
there
think,
couldn't be a season 2. I mean, the way
yeah,
that the anime ends, without spoilers, leaves it open to
okay,
things happening, like maybe a special or something. The
yeah,
way the manga ends does not. The manga has a very definitive end to it, that they did not adapt to the anime, which I'm fine with. I actually prefer the anime's ending. One thing I do find funny is, and I don't think this is a spoiler. You know the music box that they have in the anime?
Mhm.
yeah. The one that they play, that the Yuka got,
Yeah, that
Coda.
it just plays the intro song, Lilium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a thing in the manga. That's actually a character in the manga.
Huh.
They replaced the whole character with a music box.
Wow.
And you know what? The music box is the better choice.
Huh.
Because the character was like this girl that I guess she was like being abused by her father or something. And
I thought
she's
that
a
was Maya.
grown woman and wears diapers and like, you know, goes to the bathroom in the diapers because she doesn't know better and she wants to be on stage singing. And apparently like wears the diaper on stage. It's fucking weird.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but she teaches you and Lucy the song Lilium.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm fine with it just being a fucking music box. Let's eliminate
I
that.
I can see why they went with that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like. Why did I do that?
But if I had to rate it as a whole, like everything considered, I'd probably give it maybe a solid 7.
What about for the 5?
No, that's what I mean, like a solid
Oh.
7. I'm taking into consideration like how old it is. You know, the animation doesn't really stand up except for the action scenes, but I'm also taking into consideration the storyline. If I was doing like the whole series, I'd probably give it an 8. But just for the 5, I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I remember you said it was a battle between Lucy and Bando. I was like, that wasn't a battle. That was a fucking massacre. I was like, that was so one-sided.
But I feel like he held his own better than like Nana did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Pretty. I mean, yeah.
She's like standing on par with Lucy.
True to.
But
He did not. He did okay as a human.
Yeah. But seeing like even just Lucy alone, like her backstory, without her connections to everyone else, is really interesting to me. And I just like the way that this ends compared to the manga. I don't like the manga ending at all. And if you guys are interested, I can tell you what that is after.
Yeah, I'm kind of down to hearing that later. Because I've been very invested into this, given I've seen it 3 times. But it's like
just never got around to like reading it.
never, no.
Yeah.
Because I old me wouldn't bother to read manga.
I feel that.
Like younger me, no, not at all.
I feel like it's kind of the opposite for me now. Like I was more likely to read it when I was younger.
I've taken a liking to kind of reading more, like just in general, which, you know, it takes up a lot of space in my fucking room, but it is worth it.
I feel it. Yeah, that's about what I expected everyone's ratings to be, for something like this. Anything anyone has to add before we go to what our next one's gonna be?
Lucy scares me. End the story.
I showed you my vectors. Please respond.
Please respond. I started because I was speaking while I was reading that, and I almost lost it. So good.
What about you, James? Anything to add?
Ah,
All right.
Go
so,
ahead.
Jay, got the floor, buddy.
Alrighty. Alright, give a fair warning. This is kind of a niche pick, kinda.
Like this one wasn't.
I enjoyed it to the very extent, but kind of giving a little revisit to something vampire related.
Hmm.
So I hope you boys are ready to join the demon company, because for next week we are going to be watching, and I apologize for if that's a very shit picture.
Oh,
Seraph at the end.
okay.
At the end. Nice.
So just a little bit of a rundown, at least off the top of my head, without, bro, that ambulance is fucking loud. I hear it from my end. I don't even have to hear it through your end. Jesus Christ. But to give a little bit of a rundown, basically, there aren't many humans left. Vampires are running amok over civilization. They've basically taken over, I'd say, the entirety of the planet at this point. However, there are a special, I'd like to say special group, or I'd say hosted individuals. They're still human, definitely, but they have very unique talents of being able to wield special weapons that are also occupied by demons.
Hmm.
And essentially, it just comes to forging a pact with said demon, and they become a weapon. I believe their weapons decided by the demon itself, not by the wielder. So I forgot how that works. But
Like Soul Eater.
No.
no.
Fuck you guys.
I could tell you this. I watched this from complete to first episode to end. I don't remember a single thing about it.
Nice.
But you say Soul Eater. I know everything that has to do, especially with their weapon system.
Well, wasn't it like, they would transform their partner
Yeah.
into weapons? Like
Yeah, their partners were weapons.
Yeah.
And then one was like the witch and stuff. But that's Soul Eater.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I've heard of this, but I've never watched it.
It's okay.
From my memory serving me correctly, it's all right.
Well, we'll all be the judge of that next week.
Yes, absolutely.
So tune in then for Seraph at the end. Anything else to add, guys?
Yeah. You wanna watch like Elfen lead? Don't wear headphones.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah. And with that, I wish everyone a good night.
That's it for me. I'm out of here.
Out of here.
I promise to stream something other than the podcast within the week.
Let's go.
At
least one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll try. Alright, guys. See you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Laters.